Hello everybody and welcome back to another tutorial. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to make these paw print candy charms. These are actually pretty easy and you guys are going to be proud of me because I measured. For today's tutorial, we are going to need 30 inches of a 1mm stretch cord. For me, I'm going to be using a clear elastic. You can use clear elastic and you can also use a corded elastic. I do prefer a corded elastic when making these because they do have a bit more of a longevity, but when making my candy charms, I don't know, I love clear elastic. We are going to need 27 fur bead colors, so that's going to be these colors here. And we will need 12 bean colors, so that will be the paw pad, for a total of 39 beads. Aren't these cute? I based them off my own cat's paws. All right, to get started, I went ahead and measured out my 30 inches of elastic stretch cord, and I am going to fold these in half. Now, for the ease of the video, you do not have to do this. I just like to do this so you guys can see what piece of the string I'm working on. I'm going to take a little bit of this washi tape here, and I am going to tape the top of one of my strings. Now with my strings folded in half, the piece with the washi tape I will refer to as the top part of the string. This will be the bottom part of the string. To get started, I'm going to take 2 of my fur colors down both sides of the string. We're going to just let those drop. Down both sides of my string, I'm going to take 1 of my paw colors. So for me, I'm going to do this dark pink. I'm just going to let that drop. On both sides of my string, I am going to add my fur color. On both sides of my string, I'm going to be adding 1 of my fur colors. On the top part of my string, I will be adding my fur color. On the bottom part of my string, I will be adding a paw pad color, and I'm going to let those drop. On both sides of my string, I'll be adding 1 fur color. On top and bottom of my string, I'll be adding fur color. On both of my strings, I'll be adding 1 paw color. And to finish this off, I'm going to finish with 2 of our fur colors. And I'm going to let this drop. And I am going to pinch both sides of my elastic just to make sure that they are even. It's okay if they're a little uneven, maybe something like this, but we don't want them to be like this uneven. Now when we take a look at our pattern here, we have our paw pad color and our fur color in the middle. We want to make sure that the paw pad color is the one that's facing down. We're going to start from the top and then work our way down. I'm going to go ahead and take both sides of my string and I'm going to tie them together. And we are just going to crisscross these across just like we would be tying our shoes. You know, this happens so much in my videos, and honestly, you guys are going to start thinking that this is fake. This only happens when I film. I don't know why. Okay, we are gonna go ahead and give this a handful of ties. So I gave mine about 3 or 4. Don't pull too tight. That is our lesson for today. All right, now we have 2 halves of our string. It doesn't matter which one you pick. And we are going to take our string and we are going to weave it in to this bead sticking up here. And we're going to pull. We're going to add 1 of our fur colors. And we're going to weave it into the bead sticking up here. We're going to take 1 of our paw colors, and we're going to weave it into the bead sticking up here. We're going to take another 1 of our paw colors, weave it on the string, and weave it through the bead sticking up here. We're going to take 1 of our fur colors, weave it through the string, and weave it through the bead sticking up here. Now we're going to take our string and we're going to weave it in to the orange bead that we just added. And we're going to pull. We are now going to add another fur colored bead and we are going to weave it in to the pink bead sticking up. So that would be our paw pad color. I'm going to take another fur color, place it on my string, and I'm going to weave it into the bead sticking up here. Remember to pull on your string as we go to help hold that shape. We're gonna add another one of our fur colors, add it onto the string, and weave it into the orange bead sticking up here. And pull. We're gonna take our string and we're gonna weave it up through this orange bead here. Now we're gonna go ahead and finish off the top of our paw. We're gonna take one orange bead and we're gonna weave it through the bead that's sticking up here. We're gonna take another one of our fur colors, string it on, and weave it through the bead that's sticking up here. And that completes the top of our paw. Now I'm gonna take this string and I'm going to weave it down into this bead right here. I'm also going to take my string and weave it into the bead sticking out here. And we're gonna go ahead and let that string sit. We're gonna come back down to our second string, and we're just gonna need to make sure that the string is sticking out of this bead here. So I'm gonna take my string and weave it through. We're gonna start with one of our fur colored beads, placing it on the string, and weaving it through the bead sticking out here. We're gonna take one of our paw pad colors, just place it on our string, and we're gonna weave it through the bead that's sticking up here. So for me, that would be the pink. And we're gonna pull. I'm gonna take another one of my paw pad colors, place it on the string, and weave it through the orange bead sticking up here. I'm going to take one of my orange beads, place it on, and weave it through this orange bead sticking up here. We're gonna take our string and we're gonna weave it down through the orange bead that we just added. We're gonna take one of our paw pad colors, place it on the string, and weave it through the bead sticking up here. We're gonna take another one of our paw pad colors, place it on the string, and weave it through the bead that's sticking up here. We're gonna take another one of our paw pad colors, place it on the string, and weave it through the bead that's sticking up here. We're gonna take one of our fur colors, place it on the string, and we are going to weave it down into this pink bead here. We're gonna take one of our paw pad colors, place it on the string, and weave it through the bead sticking up here. I'm gonna take another one of my paw pad colors, place it on the string, and weave it through the bead sticking up here. I'm gonna take one of my fur colors, place it on the string, and now we're gonna run into something that I like to call a wonky bead. So as you can see, we have no bead to string into, and if we try to go backwards this way, the bead's gonna go like this, but we need to fill in the gap here. So what we're going to do is we are going to take our string and we are going to weave it in to these 3 beads here. So 1, 2, and 3. So I'm gonna take my string and I'm going to weave it into bead number 1. As you can see, that will anchor our bead in place. I'm going to weave it into bead number 2. And I'm going to slightly turn my candy this way. And I'm going to weave it into bead number 3. And I'm going to pull. And this should make our string go in between this pink bead here and this orange bead here. We are almost done with our paw pad here. I'm gonna take one of my fur colors, place it on my string, and weave it through the pink bead sticking up next to it. I'm gonna place on my fur colored bead onto my string and weave it into the bead sticking up next to it. I'm gonna take one of my fur colored beads, place it on the string, and weave it into the bead sticking up next to it. I'm gonna take my string and I'm going to weave it into the bead that we just added. So this bead sticking up right here. We're gonna add on our final 2 beads. I'm gonna place on an orange bead and weave it through the bead sticking up next to it. I'm gonna add on my very last fur colored bead. I'm gonna place it on the string and weave it through the bead that's sticking up next to it. Now I'm gonna go ahead and meet up these 2 tails to tie it. So I'm gonna take my string and I'm going to weave it up through this bead here. I'm gonna take my string and I'm going to weave it into the bead that's right above it. So I'm gonna weave it through this way. Now I'm going to weave it up through the pink that's right above it. And then through this orange one right here, right across from that pink. And now I'm just gonna take my 2 tails and tie them together. All right, now I've given this a handful of ties. I am going to take my scissors and cut off the 2 tails. And ta-da, you have your very own Kandi Paw print. These are great to add on to key rings. So now you have a little paw keychain. You can also string some string through one of these little guys as well, or through both, and these will make for great additions to your candy singles. Alrighty, my friends, thank you so much for watching. I hope this helped anyone looking to learn how to make a Kandi paw print. If you guys have any comments, questions, suggestions, or even feedback, please leave them in the comments below. Feedback really helps the channel grow. I'm gonna go ahead and throw out my email here. You are more than welcome to go ahead and send me some of the designs that you make. Thank you so much, everybody, and I'll see you in the next tutorial. Bye-bye.